Well, I appreciate everybody being here. Looking forward to this week against Sam Houston State. We started yesterday with a really good practice. Had a good open week. Got some guys healthy. Got some guys worked on. Did some scrimmaging with our younger players, which I think really helps out with them and their development, and also, just giving them life a little bit since they hadn't been playing much in games. So really pleased with that. Took some time off, which I think you could tell in the energy at practice yesterday was much appreciated by the players. Took Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, and then came and got back to work yesterday. So playing a really, really good football team. Sam Houston State, obviously, Coach Keeler's done a great job everywhere he's been. We got a great winning percentage, and just knows what it takes to put out winning football every week. Obviously, we went down last year and didn't do well. Did some good things, but didn't win the game, obviously, and didn't play the way we need to play. So really looking forward to getting all the fans back in Roy Kidd Stadium. It's been outstanding having those guys show up and show out at CG Bank Field and Roy Kidd Stadium, and we just need to continue to have that support from our community, our students coming off fall break. We need them to be the Maroon platoon to be crazy. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
I know you mentioned that during the bye week, you were kind of looking to clean up some of the mistakes you guys were making this season. How do you feel like you guys have prepared and kind of cleaned up those mistakes, do you feel?
Well, I think we focused on the fundamentals and getting back to what we do, and understanding that, if everybody will do their job, we'll have an opportunity to be successful on that play. You've got to be consistent with that. And that's the main thing that we're preaching. Some of the mistakes being made are made by our older players, which is really disappointing. Excuse me, which is really disappointing. And we had to focus them back in and let them realize, like, hey, not every play is yours. Some plays are going to go away from you. Some plays are going to come to you, and you're the spill guy, or you've got to run this route to clear out that route, and just whatever. There's so many different scenarios, but I think our guys understood that in those 3 practices, and then we're continuing to emphasize that this week.
Has preparation been different at all this week heading into the matchup against Sam Houston?
Well, we just have one day in this week, but we're on fall break, so it's been good. The guys don't have school to worry about right now, although I'm making them go to study table. They don't have school to go to, so I think they come to practice a little more mentally fresh. We go back Wednesday, and I think that's helped. Has helped us. With some days off, they had the weekend off, so they came back fresh and ready to go yesterday. So I was really pleased with yesterday's practice.
How much of a benefit has this bye week been for you guys?
We'll find out on Saturday, more than likely. But I know what you're asking, and I think it's always good. I mean, we've got 5 games in. We've got guys that are nicked up. We just hit midterms. We hit all that stuff at one time, and to have that time off, I gave them Monday, Friday off, Friday, Saturday off, and Sunday. So they had some good time off. We went 3 hard days. And I think it's always good for everybody. Heck, I'll be honest with you, with everything I've been through, it was good for me. I needed this weekend. I needed to rest. I needed to relax. I think I told my wife I went somewhere early Saturday morning Friday afternoon, and I went and watched my son play at Friday night. And after that, my car didn't start until Sunday when we came over here, Sunday afternoon. So that was really good for me. So I know it was good for them, and they got to continue to understand that and take care of their bodies, sleep, eat, drink, hydrate. Just because it's getting cooler, it doesn't mean you don't need to hydrate. And those are things that we got to continue to understand and do.
Last question. What have you seen on film that Sam Houston does really well that you guys are going to have to stop early?
Oh, man, what don't they do well? Their quarterback, Keegan Shoemaker, who I believe is going to be ours. They played 2 different quarterbacks. They're going through a transition to Division I. So, it's sometimes it's hard to tell who they're playing, why they're playing, but my understanding, they're playing everybody against us. So, it goes through him. He's athletic. He can throw the ball. He takes over for a guy that was well renowned in their program, won national championship for them. So offensively, they run the ball well. They're big and they're senior laden up front. I think they've got one freshman and the rest are all either graduates or seniors. So, we've got to be prepared for that. They've got really good speed at wide out. And so offensively, that's what they're going to do to us. Defensively, we know they're going to be they're going to be a mixed front, but they're going to be 4 down mainly. Their inside linebacker, Trevor Williams is number 1, is a really, really talented player. Really, just we gotta ID him, know where he's at all times, and then Javon Lee on the edge, number 94, has done a great job for him. So they're a good football team. They're not ranked, they're not any of that because they're not in. Yeah, I was at Western Kentucky when we made the transition, so I know what it's like. You're in no man's land. You're playing for pride. And so they're going to come in here and be a great test for us. It's going to be a big time atmosphere for us. Hopefully, our fans will show up and show out, and so can't wait for Saturday, to be honest with you. Looking forward to it.
Then we had a submitted question, Coach. With the off weeks and not an opponent that you're really focusing on, did you guys self-evaluate a little bit more? And if so, what did you learn about your team during the bye week?
Well, we always self-scout every week. Obviously, we did a little more in the bye week with our self-scouts on all 3 phases of the game. And you see where your tendencies are. You understand what your tendencies are, but we're going to have to break some of those, both offense, defense, and special teams. But you really are who you are because of who you have. We've lost Dak, and so that'll change some things we do offensively, obviously. But without not having him as such a great player, but I'm not going to tell you everything we learned. Who knows? Coach Keeler may be watching this. You never know. So I'm just going to say that, yes, we did self-evaluate. Each coach was charged with that, each coordinator, and they did a great job with that. And obviously that went into how we game plan and how we do different things.
We will move on to linebacker Jaylen Herrud. Jaylen, we had a submitted question for you as well. Just what have you learned from, you've got a pretty veteran linebacking core with Matt Jackson and Chase Laster and Willie Taylor, and haven't only been here a year, but they've played a lot of games. Just kind of what have you learned from being in that room with guys who've been around for so long?
From those guys in particular, really, I've learned that a lot of success that comes in their game and a lot of our games is really a mentality. The way that they approach things. If you ever talk to Chase Laster and you talk to him about how he approaches games, how he approaches practices, he's got a dog mentality. And as physically gifted as the people that you just named were, their mentality is really what sets them apart in terms of work ethic and production.
How excited are you guys to be at home and, getting ready to take on Sam Houston, a team that, Coach really just spoke highly of?
Well, it's always exciting to play in the Kid. We love playing there. We love protecting it. It's our home. Take great pride in that. But it's also really important for us to play these big games at home to represent all the work that we put in. I mean, we spend a lot of time in Richmond, Kentucky, priding ourselves on the hard work that we put in, and we prepare very thoroughly, and we are prepared to be going against Sam Houston this Saturday, and pretty excited for it all around.
Same thing I asked Coach. Has preparation been any different? Has practices been more intense just because you guys are facing that Sam Houston team?
Practices intensify every week, not because of who we play. It's just the fact that we play. We take every week one step at a time. So we've been locked in more on the details, like Coach said. That's what we focused on in the self-evaluation portion. But we are pretty consistent in the way we prepare. And
Josiah, submitted a question for you. With the transition that you made from nose tackle now to offensive line, now that you've kind of had time at both, what position do you think kind of suits your skill set the best?
Really, any position that anyone puts me in, I think always suits me the best. It was a real challenge at first moving from defense to offense because, working like different techniques, changing your play style. When you play on the defensive side of the ball, you're more aggressive and you kind of, fly around, runs the ball, get to hit somebody, but, playing offensive line, there's more of it's more of a technical and cerebral thing. And that's one of the things that I had to adjust to. And, being my second year on the offensive line, I've noticed that I've adjusted to it real well. And I've seen a lot of progress in my development and what I've been doing.
What do you feel like makes this offensive line so special? I feel like, they kind of stand out the most, I guess, week in and week out, or have been the most consistent. What do you feel like makes this unit so special?
I think what makes us so special is how close we are. Our offensive line. It's one of the closest offensive lines that I've ever seen or have been a part of. Also, our physicality. We have Coach Losi puts a real emphasis on details and physicality and playing hard to the whistle. Not taking plays off. So that's a testament to him as he is as an offensive line coach.
What are some of the things you guys have been or are focusing on as the days go on this week, heading into that matchup on Saturday or that game on Saturday?
Just focusing on the details. As physical as the game is, the most important aspect of the game is the mental aspect and the details. And as long as we keep as long as we're sharp on our details, we're always going to give ourselves a chance to win any game.